So let's move right into the second one. And I'm an expert on this second one. Okay, so the second topic of debate lately seems to be, should providers stop venting about the cost of being in business or venting about anything that's happening in their real lives? I know other marketers and branding experts tell you that being the real you is bad for business, that men want the fantasy. I think different things work for different people. I do think for some girls it won't work. I can tell you for me it always has. I don't think I'd have been in business as long as I've been in business if I didn't from day one come across as both glamorous but also is very on the sleeve. This is me. This is who I am. Seductive Storm is not very removed from who I am in my real life, so to speak. So for me, it made men have a certain level of respect and care for me, and it made them treat me human. They should treat all of you human. I'm not saying that what worked for me is better than what works for you. I'm just saying that some men like very genuine, just being who you are girls that doesn't feel forced or fake to them. And then yeah, some men do like more like the Barbie toy kind of thing. And I don't mean that looks like Barbie. I mean they just really want a fantasy girl. So it depends. I'm not for everybody. Some men, plenty of men, have complained about me voicing things in my real life, just like other women complain about other girls voicing things they're like. But I just wanted to give that preface, if you will, that backstory on me, because I am going to speak from both sides of the coin because I see both sides of the argument. I am not telling everyone to run now and share their whole real life with everybody all the time. Definitely not doing that, because while it worked for me for a long time, it's probably not going to work for most people. So let's get to the topic. Okay, I have not seen a lot of the posts myself. However, I have seen plenty of people voicing their opinions on the post, especially on the clients commenting on the postings where providers are complaining about the cost of hair and makeup and in calls and plane and travel and things of that nature and photo shoots, etc. First, let me say, I think there's two sets of different reasons why people would be complaining like this. One is from the side that I do understand, because you do all of these things, which along with your real world expenses of rent, utilities, childcare, school, whatever it is, add up to colossal fees. So then when you put all that effort in and you're then bombarded with stupid shit like, hey, you avail, what's up with the head, I don't feel like screening, you're asking for too much. When you put all that effort in it, and especially the expenses of it, only to then be met with dudes who don't even appreciate your effort, who barely see you as human, I completely understand being in a mental space where you need to get that shit off your chest. So for those of you who are telling these girls to shut up, I encourage you to shut up. Maybe they shouldn't complain about it daily, hourly. Maybe they're complaining about it too much. Again, I don't really see much of those postings because I'm busy during the day. However, what I can tell you is, for those girls who are complaining about it for those very genuine reasons, which I understand, because when I used to blog more and used to angry vent more on my blog per se, a lot of that came from that feeling of, I'm being professional, I'm being classy, I'm treating this like a real business, and I am investing and I'm being met with bullshit and time wasters and disrespectful jerks. No matter the rules I put in place, no matter the etiquette I put in place, I'm being bombarded with foolishness. So I get that. And then you have to remember you're telling them that it's wrong for them to vent on Twitter. But they've lost the ability to do that in the Verify Him community room, which was out of all the female boards where we all could talk together. To me, that was the best one. I do not mind the board on Essie. When I used to be years ago on the provider board on TR, I didn't mind it. But there was never the natural flow of conversation like we found in the community room on Verify Him. So Twitter has now, in a way, become that. And even though clients see what we say, I need the rest of you who are telling these girls to be quiet to remember. A lot of us never get to meet each other face to face. A lot of us might not have time to have close personal friends of community that we really spend true human time in contact with. So Twitter is that safe place, the one safe place so far where we can talk to each other and vent to each other and share our experiences. So, and it's also the one place where we can let clients know our frustrations in hopes that maybe they'll improve their behavior with us. So I don't think we should tell people that they're wrong for venting about something, because venting is freeing, it's liberating, it's good for your mental health. So for the girls who are complaining about their cost and all the work they do and all the work they put into their business, don't tell them to shut up, because all businesses have overhead, all businesses have this, all businesses have that. They do, but this is a unique business in that the person themselves is the business. Their heart, their soul, their skin, their flesh is also the business. Therefore, there is more emotional and mental wear and tear. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but don't tell other girls that it shouldn't bother them. And don't take away or make them feel shame or like they're embarrassing our profession for speaking their truth if it's to get it off their chest. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of entitled ladies who are just complaining, what I call whining, because they came into this business and they thought it was all going to be glam and glitz and fun all the time and people pouring buckets of money on them. And then they got here and they realized they got to put some work in. And they got here and they realized that your investment may not even equal a profit. Hell, it might not even, make an equal amount back for you. You might not even break even sometimes. But it's all part of the business. It's all part of what we do to stay in business. So, if you are one of the ones, the first half what I discussed complaining, I'm rocking with you. I get it. But if you're just complaining, but you are one of the, I hate the word privilege, but if you're one of the privileged ones and you're spending all day complaining about what you're spending on your airline tickets and your 5-star hotel and your red bottom shoes and your hair appointments and your makeup arts, you're spending all day complaining about those things, and you're filling up other companions' timelines and gentlemen's timelines with that, suck it up. Because I have a feeling a lot of you on that level that are complaining don't really need to complain. You're just complaining because you're irritated, and I get it. But in that case, where unless you're lying, and I know a lot of people lie on social media, but a lot of you are the same girls who say all the time how grateful you are for your wonderful clients, how all of them treat you well. You're taking pics of all the wonderful gifts they're giving you, the Louboutins, the Jimmy Choos, the Chanel bags, the trip you're on from the boat, like the pics. So if you are also the same ones complaining every day, all the time about what you're spending, really don't have much to complain about. Now that does get annoying. Like, what are you complaining about? Like, I get it. I understand frustration. And I get that you too need a safe place to vent. So I'm not saying, okay, you make more so you don't get to come to the table with the rest of us and complain and vent. All I'm saying is that other companions and gentlemen reading your timeline are not as likely to empathize or sympathize with you on it when it's constant. I understand everyone. I don't care if you make 1,000 per session or 200 per session. I understand everyone at some point just needing to get some shit off their chest. I absolutely understand it. I understand everyone needing clients to understand what goes into it, because I've met plenty of them who didn't even realize we paid for ads. Plenty of them just think we get online, it's for free, and then we charge them $300-400, and they think that $300-400 isn't going back into something. Like, they really think based off our fees that we're making more than any of them will make, so we should just shut up and accept everything. Let me say that again, because that's why the men truly hate to see you complain. Because in their eyes, look, whether they admit it or not, they realize how powerful we are, which is why they treat us with such misogyny. And they are bothered by the fact that they go sit at their desk, or even if they own their own business, that in most cases, unless they're a lawyer, doctor, or real estate developer, they're probably not making what we're making an hour. And it bothers them to their core. As men, that bothers them. They might not ever speak on it. And some men are strong enough that it won't bother them. But a lot of them, it does bother them, which is why you hear them say, go get a real job. Things like that, because they don't want to admit that this is a real job, which would then make it equal to them, which would then let them know that we're making more than them. So for them, it feels like a slap in the face when they watch you complain about what you spent on a photo shoot, what you spent on makeup, what you spent on your outfit, your lingerie, whatever it was. It eats them at the core. So I do believe that you might want to tone back a little bit on that, because they do know, and they do feel some type of way. But at the same token, we don't tell doctors and lawyers that they can't complain about their costs or their stress from running their business because they make more than most people do an hour. I just think, again, that goes back to they don't see sex work as work. And because they don't see sex work as work, they don't think we should complain about it. They think we're just given everything and that we're spoiled little princesses, and that we should just play nice and never express our opinion on other things. And the sad thing about it is other companions think it too. I think everything that you do or say is fine in moderation personally, because again, I'm a strong believer in being who I am. I'm also, though, as I said before, going to be honest and say that approach won't work for everybody. So if you find speaking your mind on your Twitter, well, no, you know, I'm not going to say that. Trash that. I'm just going to say this. If someone doesn't like what you're seeing on your Twitter, on your feed, doesn't like the pictures you put on your Instagram, on your feed, they can remove themselves from it. Maybe they're not a good fit for you anyway. We're out here telling girls, well, don't say this and don't say that because you're going to lose the interest of these guys. They're not going to come see you. But honestly, if a guy can't respect or understand where she's coming from, is he a good fit for her to begin with? Or any gender sex worker? I keep saying her because I'm old school and it was the most common when I started, but I mean no disrespect to other groups at all. I just need you all to understand. We spend so much time trying to make girls marketable to every person on the planet that we forget that every person on the planet isn't going to be a good fit for them. Should they market and brand in a way that reaches the most people? of the group of the type of people they want to meet? Yes. But should we encourage them to not value anything about their real selves, and to not value who they really are? To me, that's how you get burnt out. When you pretend too long to be something you aren't, you get burnt out. And that's what wears people down in this business. You got to find a happy medium somewhere between the fantasy you and the real you, and merge them and make that into a brand. I think it needs to be equal parts who you are, so you can function without having to be fake all the time, which is hard on somebody. But it also can't be so ordinary and mundane that your client feels like he's just spending time with the wife, which he might be trying to get away from. Maybe that's why he came to see you. So you got to find a happy medium between the two. Don't be totally you, but don't spend your whole career pretending to be something you aren't, because it will burn your ass out mentally, especially if you plan on doing this for a while. But I want other ladies, in conclusion of these 2 videos, the whole point I'm trying to make, I hate saying other ladies, I'm trying so hard to stop doing it. I want all genders of sex workers, but it is mainly the ladies doing this catty shit, actually, because I don't see a lot of male sex workers picking at each other like this. Like, you have every right to feel how you feel. You have every right to elaborate on it how you feel. You have every right to do whatever frees your mind and your spirit so that you can function in a healthy mental position every day. And if the rest of us don't understand it or don't like it, that's on us. Not your fault that we don't. It's really not your fault that we don't. I just think that there are 2 very different groups of people who complain for 2 different reasons on Twitter. And I think some of it is honest, wanting to clear their head and vent and just have someone to read it and listen, and possibly someone chime in who relates to them. And then I think some of it is just people who are whining and wanting attention, who really don't have much to complain about. So there are 2 groups of people. However, at the end of the day, I can't fault either group, because I don't know what's going on in anyone else's world, really know, but mine. Even if I reach out to you and I ask you what's going on in your world, you might not share everything with me. You might not even tell me the truth. A lot of girls and other genders of sex workers never tell the truth about what's going on, even to their friends, because they think they got to live up to this fake facade of everything's great, everything's good, I'm making so much money, this and that. We don't even feel safe being honest with each other anymore. And that's terrible. It's got to a point that I think that's really why a lot of people are retiring and getting burnt out, because it's all the time pretending that things are being great, doing well, especially since Cessna and FOSTA. When I know for a fact, because a lot of people reach out to me, that some of the girls y'all think are doing so good, they not doing good. How some of them might be doing worse than I am. And I honestly, I'm blessed. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell y'all that I'm doing bad. I'm gonna say I have enough, thankfully, to maintain and provide necessities for my family and a little extra here and there. I will say, like, bigger things I want to do for my family that are important to me as I get older, because when you get older, you start to think about how much longer am I going to be here. And there are promises like Disney World this summer for my kids that are promises that I want to keep, but that I will need a lot of extra income to make happen. So, but on top of that, when I write things like that and I reach out looking for extra work to be able to provide vacations for my children, I'm thankful and I'm humble, because I realize that for other girls, a vacation isn't even something they can imagine right now. So please understand, I get it, because I've been where you at. I get it. But I'm also a picture and a spokesperson of what can happen if you evolve. I've evolved, and now things are getting better for me and my family. Some of you are scared of change. Don't be scared of change. Grab it by the horns and ride with it and go with it. But I will just say, we gotta stop doing so much judging of each other. The rest of the world judges us every day. I don't know how many videos I've had to say this is the ending point. Everyone else is against us and judges us all day, every day. Why are we doing it to each other? You can make a point and give someone advice without berating and belittling them. It's not what we're saying to some of these young sex workers. And when I say young, I don't mean in age physically. I mean in age of how long they've been a sex worker. To me, you've only been a sex worker a year to 5 years. You are a baby sex worker. You not at the big kid table yet. I'm sorry. I know some of you are very polished already, making good money already, but that doesn't make you really an expert on anything. That just means it's working because you're newer. Everything that glistens and shiny that's new is a new toy. So of course it's working. Some of you are very intelligent. Some of you came from corporate. I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying 1 to 5 years in the scheme of sex work, where some of your co-workers, if you will, like me, been doing this 18, 20 years, however long it's been. We are OGs, if you will, and you're still infants. So when I say these things, I don't mean disrespect. I just mean that you haven't seen it and experienced a lot of the downs and peaks and ebbs and flows yet. And you kind of got to get through those things to really understand some of the advice that we try to give y'all before you twist your nose up at it and say, that doesn't apply to me. I don't have to listen to that. Which those old girls would just go away because they don't know what they're talking about. Even some of the younger girls try to tell y'all things and y'all don't want to listen. And I get it because the approach sounds like they're angry at you. The approach sounds unfriendly. It just doesn't sound like people listen better when you give it to them and it sounds nurturing. When you give advice to them and it sounds like you genuinely care versus that you're just ostracizing them and shoving it down their throat. So I'm not telling y'all to stop giving advice and input. Maybe just find a way to say it in a way that doesn't alienate the very people that you're trying to help. Everyone have a good day. Oh, and don't forget, I'm always looking for new web design and new assistant customers. I also do offer marketing and branding services for y'all who don't know where to start and where to go. Some of y'all think you can put marketing and branding together and then walk away from it. Nah, you got to grow it. You got to keep watering it just like you do a plant to get it to grow and blossom. So we'll talk about that maybe in the next video. But if there's any videos, and I say this all the time, if there's any topics that you need a video on, even just for you privately, I'm willing to make a video to help you out. If you email me a topic and you say, Storm, can you give me a helpful video or a how-to video on how to handle this or how to do that? I'm fine with doing that. Contact me through either of my sites, takenswventingprosandcons.co or takenswventingprosandcons.photography. Y'all have a good rest of the week. It's trash day, so I need to get ready to take my stuff to the curb. Have a good day. Bye-bye.